big one. They're getting bigger. Alright, Home Alone. I hope this is better than that last Home Alone game I tried playing. Don't worry. I'll get him. Uh-oh. I'm gonna murder that kid. Do 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 do. Guess that's all about I can do because you know. But who doesn't love Home Alone 1 and 2? If you don't, get out of here. But two of the best movies ever. And who doesn't love the soundtrack? Oh, it's beautiful. And of course, there's this game here. Home Alone game. From 2018. We got this back in 2018 and been playing it ever since and love it. Take a look at it. It's a fun, interesting, neat little game. Let's look at it. You filthy animals. The instructions are nice. They go into detail, and I don't think I find too much flaw in there, maybe with a couple of wordings, but otherwise, it's very nice. And again, I love the design on this. I like the sweater look. So the players play, either you play as the bandits, the Wet Bandits, the Sticky Bandits, whatever you want them to be. And of course, you can also, the other player plays as Kevin. So you can play 2 to 4 players, which is very interesting. So it's kind of like a team effort. Like you can be both the bandits and all that. There's Kevin's cards. These are all the traps you can get. The bandit deck. And, you know, the stuff, the steal, the loot. Tell you the prices of everything. The ways to get into the house. And a really cool paint bucket die. They try to make it very important that these are instructions for a 2-player game. Recommended that you read the rules and play your first game with 2 players. Then try a 3 to 4-player game using the rule changes outlined on page 8. We'll talk about the 2-player game basically, so that's basically it. And again, the game is basically Kevin is home alone, and he has to defend the house from the Wet Bandits. In order to win, the Wet Bandits must steal $2,000 worth of loot from the house. If Kevin can prevent them from doing so, from getting the total of $2,000, the bandits are arrested and Kevin wins. Again, there's the setup. Decide who is Kevin and who's the bandits. Put the boards in front of each person who they selected. Shuffle loot cards and the Kevin cards separately, creating a face-down draw decks on the designated spaces on the board. Shuffle the bandit cards and do the same thing, designated spaces. Leave room for discard piles off to the sides of both boards, and the bucket die designated on the Kevin board. And 3 locations. The way to play the game, you draw, loot, Kevin, bandit, cleanup is basically what they're saying. Another important note, none of the cards are replenished. When they run out, you run out. If Kevin runs out of cards, the game continues, but if you have nothing to protect, then I guess you're kind of, you know, sorry, Kevin. Same thing with the bandits. It's all you can do. If you can't do any more, then that's it. I think it's a very nice game. So each player draws cards, so they have 6 cards in hand. The loot phase. You draw the top 3 loot cards. Turn them face up and show so they can see what you got. $200, $300, $200. And some ones have specific things on them, like, say, bandits may discard to draw 3 random cards from the discard pile. These ones are special. You get 2 of the components. Obviously, 600, 3 of the components, 1,200. So they can add up the safe, 600 if you also have the key. And there's the key. 0 on its own, but together they're worth 600. So... And then the ladder, you may discard this to break into the upstairs window. So again, they can cost them the money to play, or you can gain money by getting more. After you show them, you as Kevin decide where you're going to put these. So we'll do this. We already know there's a discard, so we just want to make more room. And you will decide where you want to place these. The difficulty level for more. So a good strategy I like on this too is you can put the more expensive stuff into the harder to get places, or, you know, and then they might have to do more to get it, or you can have them think, that's what it's all about, like, they're going to think, did he put the good stuff that we saw, where did he put them? In the easy spot? And then they'll have to use more fat, and then that's where the traps come in. So let's say for now, I'm going to decide to put the watch in the center. And just kind of like that. On the next phase, Kevin sets the traps to prevent the bandits. Each trap features several symbols, that they have to get past. Placing the traps. You can place up to 3 trap cards or decoys in each location. Place them face down. Each location may have a different number of traps. So you can have like 2 here, 1 here, none here, or 3 here, 2 there, 1 there, and so forth. Kevin is not required to use all the traps in hand to avoid run out of traps. You should place fewer with less valuable loots. Again, there's a lot of thought between this and strategy, I would say, in this. After done placing traps, it moves to the bandit phase. Also to note, Kevin may look at any of the face-down cards in the house to remember what cards have been placed there. If the bandit forget what loot cards are in the round, Kevin must tell them, but should not tell, obviously, where they are. The symbols on the cards are very important. The bulbs indicate what cards the bandit must play in order to disarm the trap. Traps with paint bucket symbols give Kevin a chance to hit him with the paint bucket. So you roll it, and then you see what happens to them. The penalty costs are the numbers indicated with the oven mitts, where if you can't disarm the trap with the bulbs or anything, you can disarm them with this. There's also special abilities. Some traps have special abilities noted on their tags. So to disarm, you take the pain, basically, is the penalty cost. To disarm the trap, the bandits must discard a card or cards from their hand that show the color of the bulbs. To take the pain, as they call it, you pay the penalty cost. Instead of disarming the trap, you may pay the penalty cost by discarding the required number of cards on the symbols on the trap. You must discard 3 cards. You must discard 2 from the hand and 1 from the discard or the bandit deck. So, the hand obviously is the mitt, and the little card is from the bandit deck. Notice, like for this, I placed that, and say I wanted to keep these 2 so that I can have them for more of the bigger value cards later. Decoys are used for a bluff, because there's no activation, but it does make them waste the cost to get into the place and to, flip over and see what it is. So the bandits, in order to get into a place, for this one, in order to break in, the bandits need to discard the number of cards shown from their hand. This one from the hand or deck. This one from the hand and the hand or deck. As you can see, the bandits also have special abilities. Peek in the window. Kevin must turn the loot cards with the lowest base value face up. And then another good one, crowbars up, which is very handy. Draw 2 cards from the deck, so you get extra cards and can help you really disarm the traps. So let's have an example here and see if the bandits can break in. And at the end, the bandits may retreat from any location. The bandit must retreat if a trap is revealed they cannot get past by disarming or taking the pain. After retreating, the bandit may choose to enter a different location. So yeah, so if they can't get past like this, they can move on to the next building and so on. Alright, let's try... We'll play crowbars up. Play that one. Draw 2. And might as well play the other one. We have it. Draw 2. And just for the example of the game, peek in the one must give us which one has the face value lowest. So if I look through... Ooh, they both have it, so I will flip that one. So now the players are like, okay. So maybe they want to go with this one, because they think this is tricking us here, so they're going for this. So they got to pay from 1 in hand and 1. So they got to pay from 1 in hand or 1 on top of the deck. We have quite a bit of blue from Marv. So we'll do that. That gets us to go there, thus flipping this over. And the paint can. So we can either go paint can. We have this card for that. We just need to get by the paint can and discard whatever it is rolled. So we're going to go for that. Roll. And we might have lucked out and had nothing, but we had green. Therefore, we need to get rid of a green and a red, and we have those. So that is disarmed, and we get $300. Now let's move on to the next one. We feel like this one's going to be easy, so we'll get rid of... get rid of green. And decoy. So we got $200. We got $500 so far. It's not worth it because I feel like we're not going to have enough to discard. But, you know what? Let's just go for it. So we'll get rid of 1 from there and 1 from the deck. Another blue, and we'll see what the first trap is. Yeah. You know what? Let's see if we can look out with the paint can. We did. We lucked out with nothing, so all we need is this. That is disarmed. Flip that over, and no. we can't do it, so that's it. This one here gets discarded into the loot pile over there. And that's basically it, back and forth. There's the cleanup phase where all loot and traps are still in the house. They're discarded. So everything's discarded and they keep their hand and then you play again. And that's the game. I honestly really enjoy this game. I noticed when playing with family and friends that, especially especially I think my dad, doesn't really care for the game. I got it as a Christmas present back when 2 years ago, and for the family, and he didn't like it because he feels there's a disadvantage and an advantage. Now, a lot of people think if you play Kevin, you're better off winning the game if you play as Kevin, because you do have, I'd say, a little bit more of an advantage than the Bandits, but you still can. I personally like playing as Kevin because, honestly, I do feel like he's a lot easier to win this than playing with the poor Bandits. But again, it's all about how you play and how the opponent plays, because I've done it where I'm like, all right, I'll play as the Wet Bandits now. And I prove them, and I end up winning on my first time with them. I'm like, okay, see, you can win with them. It's all about just how you play it out. Like what I like to do with Kevin and his cards again, it's all about not overdoing the traps. There's a lot of times where, like, I won't play that much. And then there's also a moment, I believe I forgot to mention this in the instructions, but the Bandits don't really have to go and break into anything. So there could be a way for them to be really smart where I can play a lot. And then you can also think that too. You can play like boom, 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 a ton of traps if you hold on to enough. Like you don't play many, the next turn you replenish and you draw more. You could play a lot of them in something there, and then the Bandits can be like, you know what, I don't want to go into those. Then you have to just go straight to the cleanup phase. So everything just wipe clean, the loot, and the traps. And then you could waste, that's a strategy for them. They can lose a lot of traps by doing that. So you can waste a lot of traps somehow. And I've seen that happen before, and I still had a come from behind victory, though. But I honestly kind of agree Kevin is kind of the upper hand, but you can win with the Bandits. Especially what I like is when it comes to the partner part there. So, it's a little better. But definitely, I can understand it. But no, trust me, there's a lot of strategy you can do in there. Like I said, they can do that. For Kevin, I feel like there's a lot you can do too. You can really make people think. You can make the other players think as the Bandits. Placing these, again, you put a lot in one spot, and they're like, that's got to be the big one. And then they have to go through a lot. Or again, you trick them going, oh, I did all that for the $0 worth pizza? So, it all depends on if they're... But then don't do it too often because they could catch on. But I really like, there's a lot of thought and strategy into playing Kevin and set up the traps just right. And then knowing what you have and then saving some so you can play more. Again, you don't have to play them all at once. And the Bandits, I still think, saving your resources too. I think saving the resources help a lot in this game. And again, I love that it's this ugly sweater Christmas pattern design. It looks really nice. And then even on the side of the box, too, you get all the different things to hurt. I really enjoy the game. I have fun playing it. I know, like, my best buddy, you've seen him, he enjoys it. Others... Because they're like, it's no fair. You always play Kevin and you win. It's just, you can't win with this. But then I'll play the Bandits, and I'm like, I can win that, too. So, I don't know. Now, back to this. And that's it. I love the patterning, how it looks like a little sweater. So that's pretty neat. And it's like that on the card, so that is very cool. So yeah, Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. It even says it right on the box. I mean, who doesn't love Home Alone? Ugh. So until next time, like, share, comment, subscribe. What do you think of this? Have you played before? Let me know. And enjoy the 12 games of Christmas. Ho, 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 ho. Merry Christmas, you filthy animal. And a Happy New Year. Little Mo with the gimpy leg. Love those movies. I know we're doing the games and all that, but I thought there was something else Christmassy I had to show off. But what was it? Gremlins!